I got this sign at Dollar General back in the fall during their clearance sale, and I'm going to repurpose it so that I can use this cute spring printable I got from my wee abode. It was a free download, and I'll put that information in the comments, and if you are one of my subscription members, then you can find that in our Easter folder. I'm going to start by giving it a good covering of this plaster chalk paint. I need it to be really thick to cover up and hide all of the decoration that's already printed on there. Those outlines will show through even with the paint over it, so it's going to take a good bit here. I am going to end up using 2 coats, and then I'm just going to kind of dry brush that top piece, and I am not worried too much about the string because that will not matter. Then I'm using some of that truffle chalk paint to kind of brush on and then wipe across with my wet wipe to give it some distressing and some interest there so it's not just so flat and plain. Once I get that shaded how I like it, I'm going to use my little mini sander to kind of smooth it out and blend it in just a little bit more, and I'm also adding some of that darker color to the top. Then I'm giving it a good layer of Mod Podge on the top to seal that in and also to apply my printable. But I'm going to let it dry for now while I work on my printable. I'm simply using a paintbrush dipped in water here to go around the edges of my printable so that I can tear away the extra pieces of paper. I'm getting kind of close to my design, but leaving a little bit for shading. Once I get all that extra pulled away, I'm going to lay it onto my piece where I want it, cover it with some heat-resistant paper, and iron it on. The heat reactivates the glue, and I did not have to worry about moving it and getting it in the right place. Then I'm going to go over it with my mini sander. I'm going to start by going around the edges to feather them in a little bit better, and then I'm also going to kind of scratch just the plain white pieces of paper there, and I did print that on rice paper, and whenever I scratch it a little with that sander, it just kind of thins it out. Then I'm going to give it another layer of Mod Podge over the top to seal it in and also help me blend it a little bit easier. For blending, I'm going to go back over it with some of that brown paint, hitting those edges again, and just going around the edges of my paper for a little bit of shading. And then it did get a little dark on me, so I'm going to go back over it with some of that plaster chalk paint and highlight some of the areas that I want to be a little lighter, as well as blend in the edges of my printable and go over some of those white spaces in the printable as well. It's just kind of a layering process to get it exactly how you want it. Now I'm ready to make my bow. I'm going to start by layering in some of this greenery that I got from Hobby Lobby, and then some florals that I got from actually the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use some burlap as my base layer for some volume, and then this pretty striped ribbon, and then this burlap kind of neutral colored ribbon on top of that, and then I can tie it together and it's all nicely attached and ready to add to my piece. I'm making sure it's nice and tight here, but I'm also going to be stapling it on, so it's okay if it's not perfect. It's also a good time to snip those ends and adjust your loops. And as I said before, I am stapling it all onto my piece. I'm stapling the greenery down as well as some pieces of that burlap to make sure it's nice and secure. Then I'm going to start adding in some more florals. And all of these pieces came from Dollar Tree. They have some really pretty florals out for spring if you haven't checked yet. I'm just adding in some of the colors that I feel like will go well with the print, and also filling any holes that there might be. I really like the softer color of some of these florals. They're kind of like a light lavender and a dusty pink, and then this creamy kind of yellow creamy color. Then I'm going to add the string that came on it back to the top, and here's my finished piece. The florals look nice and springy, as well as this sweet little lamb and a very powerful saying as well. Thanks so much for watching my video. I think this is just such a beautiful way to honor Christ this Easter season, and I hope it inspired you to get a little crafty. Have a blessed day.